Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a broadcasting legend here in Dallas, the great Bob Lovell with HMS. He's in our studio and he's going to share his journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, you'll forgive me if I'm a little starstruck on this show because I've been listening and watching Bob Lovell on TV and radio for decades, it seems. He's a local broadcasting legend. Who doesn't know his jingle? Bob Lovell from HMS. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, I've always admired your voice because in TV news, they used to call that the voice of God. So your broadcasting career actually started in the military. Is that right?
It did. I was 17, 18, and doing a show in Frankfurt, AFN Frankfurt. So,
no kidding.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, that and writing for Stars and Stripes.
Wow. And thank you for your service to our country. So when does HMS start? What year was that?
That was 1997, January 7th, 97.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And tell us about HMS. I can't imagine that there's somebody watching who doesn't know you guys, but what does HMS do?
You know, if you were to keep it just very simple, I think we try to help people that are struggling sometimes to get into a home. When I first moved here, I bought a home myself, and I just didn't like the way they were doing it from the realtor side, from the builder side, and even from the mortgage side. It was strange, and I didn't feel I got to take advantage of the best.
Yes.
So I decided to do something about it and have a place where people could go and get straightforward answers that really needed the help, that had never bought a home before.
Yes.
And we take the time to really educate.
Well, it's so important because, the great way to gain wealth is to have a home. Otherwise, you're really just burning money. Let's go ahead and show his website. And as we scroll down the website, talk about some of the services you offer, because I know if somebody comes in with damaged credit, you can actually help them, can't you?
We can. And a lot of people are confused. They think that you can buy a home with bad credit, and that's not really what happens. You need to figure out the proper legal way to make your improvement on your credit. And people just aren't familiar with that. You know, when I hear credit repair, things like that, I cringe, and I tell people, run, don't walk away from it, because they do more damage than they do good.
Yes, and I've seen studies that there are some Gen Zs who have just committed themselves, I'm going to rent forever. I will never be able to afford a home. And that's a bad way of thinking, isn't it?
You know, I haven't ran into that many that say that and think that, but I have ran into a whole bunch of them that are renting for the last 25, 30 years.
Wow.
The oldest client we had, I believe, was 82, that had never, ever owned a home. And we have many that are in their 60s that have rented for 30, 40 years.
Wow.
I don't think they planned on it.
Yeah. And Bob, what does it feel like when you're able to get a couple into a home for the first time? I have to imagine there's tears of joy for some of them.
There is, and that's one of the things that I think we as a team enjoy most. We see it every day. We truly do. And we had one lady, she did a commercial for us. She was a chef, and she actually went out looking for a home at a builder with her husband. A week later, after showing all of the neighbors and her old neighbors and parents and family their new home, she got the call that she didn't qualify for the home. She convinced her husband to do one more time and went to a different builder.
Yes.
This time they were kind enough to tell her no right up front because they pulled her credit. By the time she had to convince him to come in and see us, he was kicking and screaming. We lost him for about 20 minutes. He was down in the parking lot. Bless his heart. He didn't want to hear any more rejection. The problems that they had were so minor, Jeff, we could fix it literally in 2-3 weeks.
Sure.
We asked her which house that she looked at and tried to buy did she like the best. She told us, and it happened to be one of our preferred builders. We took her out that weekend.
Wow.
The on-site person that was there had a shocked look when she saw her walk in because she had another client.
Wow.
And then she saw my sales manager come in behind her and she, "You didn't tell me you were with HMS." We got her that exact same house that she and her husband loved and wanted, and we closed them in about 4 weeks.
Incredible. And I don't think there's anybody in the marketplace that does what you do. I mean, if you go to a mortgage person, they're very number oriented realtors. They're not going to help you with your credit. Come back when you get your credit repaired. So I don't know that there's anybody out there like holding their hand and walking them through the process like you.
I haven't seen anyone do what we do exactly. I've seen a few people try or make it sound like it, but there's too many people in the kitchen on this. You've got your loan officers and mortgage companies, and you've got your realtors that have a tendency to take you to their listing because maybe they get paid more on that.
Right.
You've got builders that offer things that you've never dealt with before. And when you find out that they're giving you $20,000 worth of upgrades, it really costs $3,000.
Right.
And they're going to make it up on the back end with catches. So
Yes.
there should have been a place, I thought, where people can come in and just no blue sky, no hype. They don't always hear good things, but they never hear anything worse than, you know what, with some changes in your style, you can quit renting a year from now.
Well, you got maybe the best domain name of all time, blessyourheart.com. So tell us that story.
You know, the Bless Your Heart has been with us almost by accident because my wife was Texas born and bred, as I would say. And she always had that, you know, bless your heart kind of thing with bad people. Things happen to them. And I was actually hammering one day out in the garage, which I should not be allowed to do ever again. And I think the swelling has gone down now, but I really hit and hurt myself. And she was behind me. And right away, there was a big old bless your heart. And that's when I realized it really meant you dumb. Because I felt dumb. And we started using that in our commercials because if people are still renting and they would rather own their own home and they still haven't called,
Yes.
well, bless their heart.
All right, I want to show one of my favorite commercials. You've made hundreds over the years, but this is one of my favorites. Okay.
Bob Lovell for Home Marketing Services, reminding you that HMS offers many types of homes and has a preferred lender. For a new home on the golf course, you could use a pair of these. If you want to live next to a park, a pair of these would be nice, or these. But if you're still renting for lack of courage to call HMS, then a pair of these might help. They're brass. So whatever your housing or mortgage needs, bless your heart, get a pair, call HMS today.
You write your own stuff.
I do. We've actually had companies call my TV network or my radio stations wanting to hire the writer for HMS. One guy wanted to hire the spokesman, and they told him, well, Bob, the spokesman, he owns HMS. And they said, oh, you didn't tell us that before. Well, we'd like to hire the writers for their. I said, well, Bob writes all of his own. And I asked the station, I said, did you at least tell them that I'm vulnerable? Because You
The
know,
check is large enough.
I'm available but we've had offers to do things because I like writing. I used to write in the military, and my stuff was always considered kind of kinky, and
Yes.
to get away with that in the military was pretty cool.
Sure.
So,
And the jingle is very catchy. I mean, I would put that up in, the top 5 jingles of all time in Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, we can all sing, Huffines has it, but everybody can sing HMS.
well, I've had many people that come in with their kids, and they'll have their kids sing the jingle. I don't know if I can do it, and I wrote it. So, but yes, it's a fun jingle, and we try to make our commercials fun because it's a scary thing buying a house. If you've never done it before, especially. Now, of course, a lot of the clients we have, they on their second or third or fourth house, but they're still nervous when they're doing that, and we understand that.
Yeah. Okay. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes left. So I want to give you a chance to talk to that person who's watching right now who says, there's no way I can ever qualify for a house. Give them some words of encouragement.
You're probably right. You never will. No, we hear that a lot, and people that actually come in, they've been turned down by 2 or 3 different companies because they've got bad information. We've heard so often where people are told by realtors, for example, they need 20 or 30% down, and that's just not the case. Most of our clients are buying a home for 3.5% to 5% down. I mean, the vast majority of them. We even have down payment assistance programs. And when they have credit bumps and bruises, instead of doing a credit repair type of thing, we simply follow the federal law on what it takes to help improve your scores. And it makes a huge difference.
Yes.
So
And
they have to give it a shot, though, and that's the hard part.
what do you see on the horizon? Because I know the housing market has been somewhat sluggish here for the last few years. As you look into your crystal ball, what do you see for the next 12 months?
I'm encouraged for the first time in several years because we've gone through the downside in 2008. We've gone through COVID. We've always managed to adjust and work it out. But I think the more difficult time recently, people were afraid, because they didn't know what was happening. The interest rates went up 23 times in 20 months, not what we were promised. Now I see the change. I see that there are actually bright rays on the horizon. Yes. And people have more confidence now, and our sales have increased. And the good news is that builders are so heavy right now, and most of our stuff is new, although we do pre-owned. They're so heavy with inventory, we're making deals that we haven't seen for 2 years for clients. So that's fantastic.
Well, I'm encouraged. Okay, so final thoughts. What would you like to leave everybody with?
Getting a home, it can be very scary. It really is, and we do understand that. But I mean this sincerely from the bottom of my heart, that the hardest part for most people is picking up the phone and making that first call. We do hold your hand through the process. We're very low key. And if somebody has the courage, like we said in one of our commercials, get a pair. Call us.
That's a great way to end this segment. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your wisdom and helping so many families over the years. We're going to end with his website, which is of course, blessyourheart.com. The great Bob Lovell. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. Enjoyed it.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.